There are a lot of shows, movies, even video games with angels and demons. Rather than the cartoon about the angel and the demon sitting on someone's shoulder, we now see them portrayed as terrifying. Demon possession has been turned into an entertainment and not taken seriously. As Christians, we need to take spiritual warfare seriously. Jesus did. Just as the people Jesus healed weren't the enemy, the demons were. Scripture tells us that the battle is a spiritual one, not a physical one. Let's read what Paul wrote in Ephesians 6, verse 12. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Paul describes our real enemy as the powers of this dark world and the spiritual forces of evil. He specifically tells us that this is something taking place in the heavenly realms. He's not referring to heaven where Jesus ascended after his resurrection and sits at the right hand of God the Father. He's talking about the spiritual realm that is all around us and can't be seen with physical eyes. It is a vast army of the devil, whose name Satan means adversary. His very name shows he is God's enemy. Jews who read Paul's letters that we have as part of the New Testament today would have been very familiar with the Old Testament. They would have known the stories of the generations that went before them, including the story of Elisha. It's common to confuse Elijah and Elisha because their stories intersect. You can remember that Elijah came first just by remembering the names alphabetically. Elijah was a prophet who spoke mightily on God's behalf. He mentored and prepared Elisha to carry on God's work. Elisha performed miracles and spoke God's truth to the people of Israel. At one point, Elisha and his servant were facing a vast army. His servant was practically debilitated by fear, wondering how they would survive against this great army in front of them. Let's read how Elisha responded in 2 Kings 6, verses 16 and 17. "Don't be afraid," the prophet answered. "Those who are with us are more than those who are with them." And Elisha prayed, "Open his eyes, Lord, so that he may see." Then the Lord opened the servant's eyes, and he looked and saw the hills full of horses and chariots of fire all around Elisha. God used Elisha to teach this unnamed servant the important truth that our real battle isn't physical, it's spiritual. But more than that, God used Elisha to show us that God is actively at work in a mighty way, even though we can't see it. After all, if evil were the only present army, it wouldn't be a war. War requires two sides fighting. God's side is just as much a reality in spiritual warfare as the enemy's side. We may sometimes have wrong ideas about who the real enemy is, and wrong ideas about angels and demons. Scripture tells us that there is a real spiritual war going on. We need to be aware of it. We need to be equipped for it, but we don't need to be fearful of it. Those who follow Jesus are assured that they are on the winning side.